right, welcome, folks. Mil Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be our Monkey Nation, and we've got a special guest today, Justin Parks. This guy's background is incredible, and I'll just kind of walk you through a little bit of it. But welcome, Justin. You're pleasure to have you on here, brother.
Oh, I'm excited to be here, man. Big fan. So
yeah, nice. All right. So hey, let me get on your background here a little bit so people can learn a little bit about you. So you're a combat veteran. So you were in both the Marine Corps and the Army, multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, Department of State personal security specialist with ops expertise in the Middle East and Afghan region, multiple certifications on high threat protection. You were a squad leader in Iraq with the 1st Cav, and it looks like a door gunner on the 3rd deployment with the 4th Aviation Combat Brigade in Afghanistan. You had 260 flight hours. That's amazing. Awarded an Air Medal with Valor and Army Commendation Medal. And then in 2011, you were assigned as an instructor for counterinsurgency. And then you medically retired from the Army and began working security with Triple Canopy in Iraq. And so the thing I think that's going to just blow people's minds is the fact that you've got, when I look at the 2017 attack in Kabul, man, that just sounded insane. So can you walk us through what happened there?
Oh, well, so I had left contracting for many years. I tried to come home and just left Iraq and came back and things happen in life, like always do. And, the guys like us that have a certain skill set, we chase the money. We chase the guy that's going to pay us the most, why not do what we know how to do and get paid handsomely for it? And so I took a contract in Afghanistan, and it was, it wasn't the type of contract that I'd been used to that was funded well. We'll just say that. Very poorly funded contract. We had to provide our own equipment, which in some instances isn't that bad. I mean, you get to gear yourself up. Weapon systems were just, it was just not for that particular area. Should we have had what we had? We should have had a little bit more firepower. And the infrastructure, the whole area in that diplomatic district just focused mostly on the embassy protection and not so much the personal contract protection for like companies like PAE or Department of Justice, So May 31st, 2017, any other day, I rolled out around about 07:15 I took a client to another camp, and it was pretty routine, usually about a 2-hour op. And I was back in actually about 45 minutes. Came back into camp, knew I had another op in like an hour. So I was like, I'm going to sleep as much as I can. These are 12, 14-hour days, so I'm going to get as much sleep as possible. I'm in my rack. I know that my roommate, who's in a bunk, just across from me next to the window, I knew he had an op in like 45 minutes. So I started waking up around 8:30, 8:35, and I just I remember telling him, Maddie, hey, you're gonna get, and before I could even get those words out, the room collapsed, and it was just like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. I mean, I'd been in explosions before, but nothing like this. This was just, and was thrown from the top bunk. Maddie got thrown from his bunk. The whole building just shook, rattled, dust, couldn't see in front of you. And we had no idea what happened. We thought it was a direct hit. We thought that maybe they walked a mortar in or something, which, the common thing has happened. But woke up and another guy from my team came running in, and he still had his coffee pot in his hand. He said, get up, we got to go fight. And I started to get up, and I realized that my face was covered in glass and that I couldn't really move. I strained to put my boots on, and ended up shredding up my feet from the glass that fell inside inside my shoes. And we got out there and started doing assessments on it. And we had about 60 clients in the camp with us in Camp Jefferson. And it was just, when we came out there, we thought it was going to be catastrophic because of all the body parts that were in the camp, just strewn about everywhere. And we're thinking, this is everybody that we know. is all over the place right now. You got to focus. We started doing casualty assessments, setting up casualty collection points. Our medic was bleeding from the head, but he patched himself and rolled in there. We wanted to make sure the front gate was secure, so we ran out to the gate. Now we're in between the United Arab Emirates embassy and the French embassy at this time, and we weren't worried about what they were doing. We just had to secure our front gates, and we're probably about 75 meters from where the explosion actually happened. So a lot of our gates gone at this time, and our gate guards they're gone. I mean, so we go out there, check the gates. Okay, doors are still up. None of the gate guards are around. Internal, external, everybody took off or they're dead. And from that point, it was just, how do we sift through everything that's happening and still get together and still get these people out that are wounded. And the one thing we started to realize was that these body parts that were in the camp weren't our clients. So this truck that had gone off, I'll give you the background on the truck. The truck was a septic truck, which come in all the time, big septic tank. Instead of septic fluids, they packed it full of HME. And they still don't know exactly how much was in there, but it was quite a bit. And they rolled it through the gate. And I guess when the gate guards tried to turn them around, the Afghan army tried to turn them around, they kind of got, cold feet. And I believe it was a remote wire trigger. I don't think the driver did it. And it blew that whole area, took out a building behind it, right there in downtown Kabul. And 468 wounded, I believe, and about 180 killed.
That's insane.
Yeah, we medevaced for about 4 hours. And
wow.
Yeah, probably about 60, 70 sorties coming in, grabbing wounded. But it didn't end there, because here we are. This camp's devastated. The embassy has us evacuate our clients to the U.S. embassy, which is in the diplomatic district, but deep down inside the perimeter. We're on the outskirts of it. And so we take everybody over there. We cut the team in half and put half in the embassy, and the rest of us have to stay on Camp Jefferson. Now we're on the cusp of this completely, destroyed perimeter. And the Afghans are looking for somebody to blame. Hey, why this happened to us? The people we partnered with for years. Well, why this happened to us? Why are 468 of our people wounded and 200 of ours killed? Afghan army's upset because 30 of their guys just disintegrated right away. So protests start happening. Now, mind you, there's maybe 8 or 9 of us left on that camp to defend it. And it's probably about the size of a school gymnasium, maybe a little bit bigger. Several buildings all destroyed, all damaged, no water, no power. The guys that cooked food for us for PAE, they were gone. I mean, we were having to break into food lockers. We weren't allowed to touch any of the body parts because the FBI had to come by and do a post-blast analysis. And so you had torsos hanging in trees. It was a mess. But now we're being surrounded by protest crowds, and they're camped out behind the soccer field behind us, and they just pop shot at us for 2 months. Afghan army pop shot at us for 2 months. A lot of us got really sick. I had 4 strains of E. coli. I lost about 30 pounds. I didn't get antibiotics from the embassy. They wouldn't authorize it for a whole month.
Wow.
They finally gave me antibiotics, and I left a month after that.
Now, let me ask you a question. There's video of that septic truck blowing up, isn't there? Because I remember watching that just after it took place, and That's insane. So,
Yeah.
so these guys were basically, you had, just like they normally do, right? You get locals that come in and out and they provide services and things like that, right? And so they're vetted, but then there's always, a wolf hiding among the sheep, as always, right? So,
well, I mean, that's it's an influential thing. Maybe that guy owed money, and he was looking to pay a debt, and whoever it was that was behind it, Taliban never claimed responsibility for it. Said, hey, we'll pay you if you take this truck in. Your family will be taken care of. You'll be gone, but you'll be a martyr, and your family will be taken care of. But I think that truck, and what people don't realize is that septic truck. I think people say, the reports are saying, the FBI saying he was targeting the German embassy. I don't believe that, because the Germans had done something to an Afghan civilian. They'd hit Afghan civilians with their trucks or something like that. I don't believe that, because that route led directly to the U.S. embassy, and there's a turnoff right before you go in, and it takes you deep back behind that to where the septic systems are. And if you would have hit that, I mean, you're looking at mass CAS, even worse than what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the overpressure alone was twisting buildings. I mean, it was taking aluminum buildings and twisting them like a soda can. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah, I remember seeing that detonation, and it was pretty amazing. I remember when I saw it happen, I thought, my God, that was a massive blast. And so let me ask you, you're still in that industry. So how do you go through that and still come back and still do that same kind of role and task, man? Does that, most people have been like, not a cat with nine lives, right? I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to, I'm going to go do a different career thing, man. I'm going to go teach Sunday school class or something, I mean,
when I came back from there, I had a lot of time to think about, like, number one, I was still employed with them, but I had to have surgeries and get things corrected in my stomach, and I had a spinal injury. I was pissing in a bag for like 2 months. I mean, my whole inside area was just deteriorating, and so I had a lot of time to think, like, what do I want to do? And I just, what else can I do? I've got like a year of high school, and it took me 6 years to get a degree. I mean, my degree's in Arabic studies. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Now you speak Arabic, right?
Right. Yes. Sure.
Nice. Now you're so from that point on, if we kind of go back to having that skill set and that expertise. Now I was reading that you've got, and I was just stating here that you had that 260 hours of flight hours in a helo as a door gunner. What was that like? Was that, cause that kind of was it led up to this, right? And so you got a lot of time in the theater, right?
It was, that was a volunteer tour. I had just come back from my third tour in Iraq in 2010, and I didn't want to be home. But a lot of vets feel that way. They don't want to be home. And so I was like, I got to get back over there. This war's going to end, and I haven't seen enough of it, although I had already just done 3 tours. I volunteered. I was an infantryman. I was a squad leader. I volunteered with an aviation regiment that was short on door gunners for their Blackhawks and their 47s. And the funny thing is, actually, the company first sergeant, I met him at a yard sale, and he's the one who mentioned it to me. And he was like, I'd love to have you. And so, yeah, but here's a crazy story about it. It almost didn't happen. There's a thing called Aeromed. It's like aviation medicine. Make sure that you're competent to fly. And I had been on a certain medication that they didn't like, but they didn't tell me till about 2 weeks before deployment. Now, mind you, I've already left my unit, gone to this unit, done a little bit of aviation training, and I'm expected to fly for the next year in Afghanistan. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so the guy's like, he's like, no, you're not flying. And I didn't tell anybody. They asked me, hey, do you have your paperwork? Yeah. They email it to me here in about a week. Don't worry about it. Get to Afghanistan, land in Afghanistan, land in Bagram. We're there for about a week. My platoon sergeant comes up to me and he says, hey, you got that paperwork? I said, yeah. I'll go to the internet cafe and get it. I'm stressing out because what are they going to do with an infantryman that doesn't have flight status? They're going to send me home. You know what I mean? They can send me back to the grunts, which would have been, then maybe they can keep me there. I don't know. But I'm sitting in a chow hall. This gentleman comes walking up. He says, "You don't look too well right now." I mean, I'm stressed on my face. Sits down, he's a major. And I notice he's got that big special forces tab on, but he's also wearing wings. And he sits down and I tell him the story, and he goes, "Well, I just so happen to be the flight surgeon for such and such aviation regiment. Why don't you come by my tent and I'll look it up?" He goes in there and looks it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I can see why they're not letting you fly." He's like, "Tell you what, you keep your nose clean, I'll give you 6 months of flight right now." And he printed me an upslip out right there on the spot. His name is Major Pushkar.
That's cool. So let me ask you, man, what were you primarily door gunning on? Were you H-60s or were you, and you were talking about the Chinooks?
CH-47, the Fox model Chinooks, yeah.
Mercy, man. Dude, those things, I mean, it's just, I call them flying bananas, man. But I cannot imagine being a door gunner on that thing because you're just like a flying, with all of the, these guys got these shoulder fire rockets and stuff, hiding everywhere, just popping up. Did you see any action when you're doing all of that, or? Oh,
I mean, quite a bit. We were in Paktika, Eastern Afghanistan. So, and we were putting the 101st Airborne in out there, and they were setting up forward operating posts all over the place. I mean, they would stay out there for weeks. So we were just putting them in the most remote areas, and then we got attached to some of the 160th couldn't keep up with everything. Yeah. So we got attached to these things called brown teams, and we would insert these special ops guys, and they went out there and did. It was a lot of waiting most of the time. It wasn't. I mean, those guys go in quietly, and so it wasn't like real high speed hot LZs or anything like that. It was just, you're putting, some pretty badass dudes in your helicopter and putting them in some really bad places. But it was probably the best. 12 years in the military was probably the best time of my life. That 6 months. I mean, I saw the whole country. And it only lasted 6 months. I got to fly for 6 months, and then I got sent back up north to work with the civil affairs team up there. First group. So,
gotcha.
But, finally discovered we had a hard landing, and they finally discovered that that I was I was an aeromed as a non-rec. Well, I was wrecked. I was okay, and then they were like, after 6 months or your birth month, they do another evaluation, or if you've been in an accident, and they were like, "Oh yeah, wait, we can't give you more flight time."
Wow.
But I was like, "Hey, too late. I already got 6 months in, 260 hours." So
yeah, for sure. So did you go in any hot LZs, or were you like everything was just kind of,
I mean, it was, there was, the threats were there. I mean, you'd fly over a village and the whole place would light up. Like every light bulb's coming on every like little mud hut. I mean, they was just, it felt dangerous. I mean, honestly, I think the biggest threat is the weather in the mountains.
Yeah.
I'd rather get shot at than fly through some of these valleys. It was,
yeah,
it was not, I mean, you'd reach your window or your hand out in front of you in a door window and you don't see it and you're still flying.
That's crazy. Yeah. Those pilots got some pretty big stones, man. It's
they did.
Insane.
I had some really good pilots. They were real tough guys. I mean, they were just so calm and cool and collected about everything. So
that's solid, man. That's good. Yeah, that's crazy because those Chinooks, man, you can hear them coming from miles, and it's almost like you feel like you're a sitting duck. So that's pretty wild. As we kind of go through that, kind of breaking into today, right? Just kind of what. So you've got a book you're writing about all of this. That you just explained to us, right?
Right.
That's in the works.
It's in the works. It's called the Lions of Camp Jefferson, and it focuses on the guys, my team that was left there, and what got me to that point, because I thought I left contracting in 2016, and then here I am a year later out there doing it again, and subsequent events afterwards, how it affected me. I'm the only one from that attack that the company settled out with. I'm the only one that pushed, so it was pretty groundbreaking that I was able to sue one of the biggest defense companies there was. I mean, only because they pretty much ended my overseas career.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know if I
crazy.
could go back over there. I don't know if my body could handle it anymore. But yeah, I'm working right now with pretty good author, and she's got a publishing company that she helps uh, helps put it in the right format, and I'm looking, hopefully by the end of the year it's out. And
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, it should be a
Good.
good read.
What's the timeline you think this thing's going to be? You thinking December or
I think December. I think possibly even November. I mean,
nice?
it's done. We're just making sure it's the way we want it to be. Like it tells the right story, and and it doesn't just drag on about me, but it talks about these guys in this event at the same time.
Yeah, that's insane, man. That's well, at least you live to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So tell me a little bit about this mag on a tag soap, man. You and I had discussed this a little bit
Yes.
in the past, and so this is like a new thing you're getting ready to do. I'm kind of excited about it for you. This sounds kind of wild. I'm like, it's a cool concept. I never really thought about
Well,
it.
I mean, you were the inspiration for this, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was using your soap, and I was like, Monkey made this soap. I can make soap. That's what I said. I can make soap. And then what I do? I called you right away. I was like, what do I need to make soap?
Yeah.
And you told me. And so yeah, mag on a tag. And here, I don't know if you can see here in the camera.
Nice.
But this looks like just your typical AR-15 mag, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, you could put this in your rifle right now.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's not going to do anything for you, but make that mag well smell better. But these are full-size soap bars. I mean, this is we're looking at producing thousands of these. We just got a manufacturer that's interested, and it's been a lot of R&D, because it is a lot of soap. So you just got to figure out. I mean, it's almost a pound.
Wow.
I mean, that's a beefy soap bar. I've been using one for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, they'll last a while, man.
Yeah.
Even my little bars that are 6 ounces or whatever, those things, they'll go for a good amount of time. And so what kind of scents and flavors, should I say, are you going with on these?
Well, we don't want to be a gimmick, because it's already a gimmick. It's a magazine that's in the shape of soap, and with the Ranger pull tab.
Yeah.
But we're like bourbon scents, coffee type scrub scents. We'll do bay rum, anything really. I mean, we're just we want to have a line of CBD infused as well.
Okay.
I understand that's a limited market in some states, but I just think it's cool. I mean, I think guys, I mean, anybody in Iraq, I mean, you probably get some comments on this, but I mean, everybody knows before Magpul came out, that's how you pulled your magazine out of your kit. Now this is how you can pull your magazine up when you go take a shower.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now you're going to be building on that, right? So you're looking at expanding and making some other things that kind of go along with that. Is that my understanding?
Yes, I've got 100 ideas. They're just every day is something new. And with the molds we had designed. I mean, these molds are designed after I sent one of my mags to the guy, and up in Massachusetts, and he made these molds for me.
That's cool.
You could do so much with that. I mean,
Yeah.
Nobody else, that mold doesn't exist. That was the whole point of it. I wanted something that didn't exist, that was kind of cool. And if the guys that own Axe are watching this, hey, you can make this thing laser green and yellow if you want, just, put your scent in there. So,
yeah. So are you looking for investors with this right now, or what are your thoughts going forward?
I think I've done, just out of my pocket and my partners, Mike Spadoni, was the guy I served in Afghanistan with. We haven't really needed anybody yet. I think the only thing we're thinking about bringing a guy in that's going to help us with the manufacturing, that set us up with that, and he's also got the knowledge to do drop shipments where we never have to even touch his product.
Yeah,
we can just get it to your door, or get it to the consumer, or to the business fast. And there's so many things you could do with that. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. And I like the idea of the different colors and the different scents and things like
Yeah.
that. I mean, you could have 100 variations of that thing.
There's so
So
yeah, anything you come up with, it could be done. You can put anything you want in there. I mean, I've
yeah, that's
done
really
coffee
cool.
scrubs. I've tried oatmeal, uh, different micro beads. I've done a few different bars here, and I hand them out and tell them, hey, keep it for a couple of weeks. Tell me what you think. So
Yeah,
so I have to
yeah,
get one
that's
too.
good. So do you have a website set up for this thing and
You know,
or
we're
anything yet? Or you just you're still in the preliminary stages? You're going to launch this thing out here
yeah,
now.
we're still preliminary. We want to launch it all at once. We want to just,
Okay.
site comes on, products available. We know it's a cool product, and we want we don't want to, go out there and make 20,000 and then be sitting there with 20,000 bars.
Yeah.
We want somebody to say, yeah, you know what, I do want that. Let me get
Yeah.
5,000 of those. Hey, how long for you to make 10,000 of those?
Yeah.
And then we'll just fill it that way.
Yeah. I got you. That's a smart way to do it. And if there's anything I can do to help you with that, launch, man, let me know. That's
Sure.
now. So my understanding, you were talking with a couple other dudes that kind of, I guess you'd say semi-famous, right? That were talking about exploring some opportunities with them. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was a few guys. Actually, was it up here? You see him? Where's he at? There he is.
Yeah, that guy.
Tom Berenger right there. There he is.
Yeah. Other side. Yeah, I got you.
Tom's son's a friend of mine. So, Tom's going to get a bar and he's going to check it out.
That would be
people,
cool.
Yeah, I got some people I used to do some protective work for that, were interested in it. So, I mean, like I said, I'm going to send these bars to as many people as I possibly can, because I think it's just something that it's nice to have it in your hand. It like reminds you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To me, it reminds me. So
yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you need to be reminded.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, if there's anything I can do, man, on that, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out, and I'm excited when you launch. Let me know, and we'll get you back on the show. We can talk a little bit about where it's
Perfect.
available and where they can get their hands on it. So, it looks like a cool deal, man. I saw it and I was like, that's wild, man. I mean, like that's something most people think of, So
Yeah.
now you're doing private security work today. I mean, it's crazy to think you're still doing that type of thing, given your background and the stuff that you've been through. I mean, it's a skill set. Obviously, you're pretty good at it. So what's going on today, man? What are you up to? And
well, I mean, I kind of contract myself out. Just protective details for those like high threat situations. I did a bodyguard gig in Austin a couple weeks ago, and we had to take the client to Florida so we got another one coming up here next month. And we're just trying to, you want to market yourself, but you don't want to fall in that security stigma. You know what I mean? Like you just, the suits and ties, everything. Yeah, that's cool. You got an earbud in, but a low pro security presence is my thing,
Yeah.
Like I do private investigations also. I mean, I go all out. I wear disguises. I'll dress up as an Uber guy. I mean, I'll pretend to be maintenance in an apartment. I mean, I've gone to restaurants where I know the person works, and I'll order 2 or 3 drinks and sit there and chat it up. Just get as much information as I want for the client. And I mean, I'll sit there and take pictures, video. I mean, I think that some people think that security needs to be seen. It doesn't need to be seen. It's not even supposed to be seen. It's a just in case protocol.
Right.
And so, do I do a lot of the suit and tie bodyguard? Not as much as I used to. Most people, my last client, who was probably one of my most famous clients, just wanted, just a guy that knew what he was doing, that could escort, her and her family and could react in a situation that it needed. Didn't need the whole facade and the whole charade of earbud and suit jacket with the suit side cut a little bit bigger so you could keep the weapon in there. No, just throw flannel on, pair of khakis, and just use your skill set.
Yeah,
and blend.
Right on.
You got to blend, but we do that a lot. We do. We're chasing warrants now for bond jumpers.
Yeah,
more difficult. I look at some of these videos on YouTube of these guys, bounty hunters, and I'm like, wow, they're catching these guys every time they go out. It's not the case in the real world. I'll tell you that. That's not the case. These guys are, these are expert criminals, and I tell you what, the people taking their bonds aren't paying attention to the information they're writing down because, it's some pretty interesting stuff, but
I can imagine.
we're hammered.
That's a lot of that skip tracing comes into play, right? Where you're having to go.
Yeah, you could skip trace for days and you're never going to find this guy. I mean,
yeah,
you got to catch him at the right time. My partner wanted to get a guy at his girl's high school graduation.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But we're just, you just got to get him at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. And these guys don't want to be found. And that's, and most of them are, the ones that pay worth their weight in gold are pretty bad dudes. And so, you gotta, man, it's a dangerous thing to do. But so now, is there any thought of going back into the back into the box over there, or
I think that under the current administration, no, I wouldn't go back over there. Not even close. I have friends that are there. I got two that just came back last week. They're still rotating out over there, and they're in Afghanistan, and the army left. The good guys left. They're there. They said they spend most of the time in the air trying to stay off the ground. But it's just not the place for. It's a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, they just hit the airfield in Iraq yesterday.
Yeah, I'm seeing an increase in that. It's definitely not a place that you want to be sitting, especially without any top cover.
No. SIGACs are through the roof past 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think there's going to be a lot more work that's probably because of the vacuum leaving from our military presence, right? Guys that are in uniform, you're probably thinking it's going to go into more of a contractor oriented type of environment over there, or?
I think it's going to be an international contract environment. I think that once other countries see that we've left, they're going to send their advisors in and they're going to say, hey, America left, but look, we've got these guys, and a lot of those private military contractors in out of Eastern Europe and in Asia, they're not as nice as we are. Like, they don't follow the same type of rules that we do. I mean, they'll put anybody out there on the line, and anybody will take a job out there. And I think that that's going to cause a lot of issues in those areas because it's a very sensitive environment to work in. Like, you, not only culturally sensitive, but politically sensitive, and just your very movements have to be concise and like I say, culturally sensitive to the whole area. I mean, you just have to be. If not, they tell you when you take on that job, every bullet has a lawyer attached to it. So be careful where you shoot. Yeah.
That is crazy. So what is the draw over there? Like, why? I mean, we hear it from the political and the news standpoint, but you've been there, boots on the ground. You've done several tours. What is the attraction? Why do we even want to be there? Like, what is, especially Afghanistan? Is it poppy fields? Is it what's going on there?
I don't know. I wish I did know. I wish I knew what the appeal of that area was. I don't know what we were trying to fix. I was with the Department of Justice in 2017, and we were taking them to prisons to Pulcharki, one of the craziest prisons ever. We were taking them there to monitor them hanging. They hang guys every week, and I didn't understand that. Like, okay, are you here to stop them from doing that? But agriculturally, they can grow entire farms on the side of a mountain. They've been doing it for 5,000 years. They don't need us agriculturally to teach them anything. Yeah. Now, I mean, if you look at what Kabul looked like back in like the 60s and 70s, it was a pretty nice area. People, like the Brits were there. It wasn't a bad looking area. The women dressed like women. They weren't walking around with bed sheets on. It was like, I'd want to visit it. Same with Riyadh. Same with Baghdad. I mean, it was was a nice area. It was a nice place to visit, nice place to take your family on vacation if you wanted to. Go explore the Middle East. Those days are gone. You can't go into a country that's religiously fanatical and change their ideals to fit your principles and to fit your idea. You can't do it. Fanaticism to these people is a day-to-day breeding. Everything about them, from the shoe they put on to the car they start to the tree they smash into, and they inshallah, God willed it. I guess I just had to hit that tree this morning. It's fanaticism. You cannot defeat fanaticism because they don't have a sense of pride for country. They have a sense. It's a self-preservation. Am I being good enough for God?
Wow.
That's their thing. They don't care about let's say, you're Afghan. They don't care about their buddies on the left and right. In a firefight, was I good enough for God? I mean, am I doing enough for God? Oh, he's dead, but inshallah, am I good enough for God? I mean, there is none. You just can't defeat it, and I don't know why we're there.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I can see the drug trafficking piece, right? I can see where there's the poppy fields and things like that because there's money to be made on it, and we historically have run a lot of our Black programs off of drug money, right? I mean, you go back to Five Star Trust, CIA, this is back in the day, long time ago before Kennedy, and where they were basically running drugs to pay for their Black programs. They had more money than our actual government had in itself. I mean, it was very well funded, and so you could see that may be the premise behind it all, because you're right. You're not going to change their thinking. They've been that way for thousands of years. And they're pretty rooted in that, right? So It just doesn't make sense. Now, what about that's Afghanistan, but what about Iraq, man? What's the draw over there? It's again, I don't see us, going over there and teaching them how to make Big Macs. It just doesn't make any sense.
But they can. I've seen it.
Yeah,
they make a pretty good pizza, to be honest. No, I mean, it was weird being there in 2015, right around time ISIS was making their big push. I had just gotten there, and I just remember floating in a pool one day in the embassy, and then thinking about 3 blocks away how I had a firefight there 4 years ago. Like it is, or 5 years ago. It was hard to comprehend that, but we had clients that stayed inside the green zone. We had clients that went outside the green zone, and honestly, I would hear them talk. I don't interact with them if I'm, at the TC of the vehicle, if I'm driving, or if I'm, on the protection team, on the diamond. But I can look at somebody, kind of break them down, and be like, "You don't know shit. You don't know what you're talking about." Like, I never understood the allure of why these people had to go and talk to. Have these little shuras with these leaders that have been in power before. They're at a high position in Iraq, in the population of Iraq, and they're sitting down with Johnny just joined the DOC or DOJ out of college. Like they don't care what you have to say. You know what I mean? Like thanks for wearing your shemagh, walking around in your business suit. Like it doesn't. They never understood that. Like these guys, and you just kind of go. I wish I knew what they were trying to put together, because the Green Zone 2007 and the Green Zone 2021 looks exactly the same, except the gate got smaller. Like it just shrunk a little bit.
Crazy.
I never understood what the mission was, and I never asked. You don't ask. You're just like, hey, I'm here to make money, here to take care of my family, here to take care of myself, here to fill a void that I got going on. But I wish I knew what was going on in those rooms sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. That's for sure. But so you think now that there's this vacuum in there, you think we're going to see the Taliban stand back up? We're going to see, ISIS reemerge? Does that seem like that's going to be the void that starts to get filled? You think?
I don't think ISIS will come back. I think they're done.
Really?
I think they had their chance. And when the Kurds pushed them out of Syria and out of Kurdistan. I mean, that was it. They're done.
Yeah.
That is now an ideal. That's all it is. It's just like, remember ISIS? Oh yeah, let's do it for them. That's what that is.
Okay.
I think it's going to be internal conflict, Iranian conflict with other countries in that area. I think the Middle East is going to tear itself apart. And I hope we sit back and watch it this time.
Yeah.
Whether we concentrate on ourselves and we sit back and watch that. Afghanistan, they talk about the Taliban coming up with peace talks and wanting to sit down at the table. But how long have we heard that for? How long was this war? 20 years?
Yeah. And heck, the Russians were in there before we were, right? So
yeah, we convinced the British to leave America faster than we've been able to convince the Taliban to sit down at the table and stop messing around.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I mean, you can throw money at it, but you're just printing away, and it's just like you said, it's an ideology. They'll tell you what you want to hear, take your money, and then go right back to what they're doing, and just it's all lip service, So it's nuts, man. So let me ask you. So you're talking about engaging, targets just right down the street while you're kicked back in the embassy pool. Have you ever put a number on it, like how many guys you think you actually took out?
Total combined, like 4 tours. I don't know. I'll be honest. A lot of vets won't come out and tell you this, but in 04, when I was my first tour, 20 years old, I just shot where everybody else was shooting, and to me, a guy had told me, an older Marine had told me, just run really fast and shoot when everybody else is shooting. So that's what I did. I mean, I didn't. I wasn't out there, like zeroing in on anybody, slow, doing slow kills or anything like that. I wanted to stay alive. I mean, I'm sure I'm responsible for many. I just, I don't want to really put a number on it. Like, I don't know, like that's for it's for snipers. They do all that. They put numbers on it. They need those numbers,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So so you're basically just putting rounds down range, man. You're not
putting
really
rounds down range. I mean,
not going over there to confirm it.
No, yeah, I don't think I ever really wrote anything down. I was always more shocked. Like, actually, when you do it to a guy, you're shocked. It's not like, you're not high fiving your buddies like in the movies, like, oh, thanks a lot, bro. No, you're like, right. He's kind of, and then you think about it later on, like, but you don't dwell on it. Like I've never really dwelled on it. I mean, that guy was going to get me, I was going to get him. So
yeah.
But yeah, you mostly it's a state of shock. You got adrenaline's pumping. It's insane.
Yeah, that's a different type of adrenaline too, man. When you're getting shot at, or it's something. I imagine it's hard to even replicate. You have to, and that's probably what the draw is for you to go. When you go back over there, because you're like, yeah, you know what, I kind of feeling it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, man? You thinking we're gonna do a little mag on the tag, or mag on the tag soap? You got a book coming out. Got any other big plans? Things that you're thinking about doing?
I've always got something that pops in my head. I think last week I wanted to own a hot dog stand. I mean, just whatever comes to mind. Yeah. I try to put forth an effort into it, and I really, this book is. I thought I was dragging ass on this book, but I went after talking to other authors. Like, it's my last project took me 4 years. I'm like, oh, okay, so 3 years isn't that bad. Yeah. So I really want this to be a combination of everything up to this point, and then if that book turns out to be great, it'll open up more opportunities for me to do some more things. One thing that I do want to do, and at Mag on a Tag, let me go ahead and plug that again real quick.
Yeah.
One thing it's going to do is 5% of all Mag on a Tag sales is going to go to the foundation that I started called Man Down Foundation. And it's going to be a fund for vets honorable discharge vets that have gotten out and they're going through divorces, custody battles, because we get put through the ringer. I'm sure you heard 100 stories, but I hear stories all the time about it. Yeah. A lot of states are not fair to veteran fathers. And so I want a fund where these guys can come and draw this money. They can maybe go get an apartment because they're having to pay a mortgage and all the car payments plus child support, and or maybe they lost their job, and they just need to make some child support payments, something like that. You come to the Man Down Foundation, and we're going to give you that money to help facilitate that. We're going to get you a lawyer. I want to get a whole network of pro bono lawyers that are willing to help in family law, because I've seen, and people ask me, why, why? Because it happened to you. I'm like, well, yeah, it is. It's detrimental. That's what caused me to go back to Afghanistan and work again because of divorce like that, because of just getting put to the ringer. And I said no, because push-ups, T-shirts, and rings and stickers and little memes about PTSD and veteran suicide, that's not going to help, because I figured out what the cause is. And a lot of the times, I'd say about 80%, is family situations where these guys can't get out of it. And the judges are threatening them with this, and they just have no way out except for that one way. So if I create this fund, it might be able to help these guys. So 5% of all mag on a tag sold are going to go into a pot for these guys to pull from. Gotcha.
That's good. So let me ask you, where can people find out more information about this Man Down Foundation?
They can contact me directly. It's right now, I'm just trying to build a network of attorneys that get all the legal aspects of it before we go and push forward and make it an actual foundation. That we
gotcha,
charitable organization. So
gotcha.
And, like I said, the funds from the book sales and from the magazine sales will definitely fund and put some money in the pot and help these guys out. I mean, I just think that there should be something that you don't have to jump through the ringer through. You just call me, or call like somebody that works with the foundation. Hey, this. But you know what? You're going to be a good character veteran. I don't want some guy that, I don't want the other types.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. I know what you mean. It's well, dude, that's good stuff, man. And again, if there's anything I can do to help you out, I'll put as much information I can down in the description of this video for everybody that's watching that wants to reach out to you. And when you get this mag on the tag up and running and ready to roll, let me know, and we'll help you get that thing launched. Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Well, hey, listen, dude, I really appreciate your time today, man. I'll get this thing out there and I'll put, like I said, in the description, everything I can about you that people want to reach out to you. I'm sure we're going to have some folks that want to, help you out with that foundation getting going, and especially mag on the tag. I think you're going to get a lot of interest out of that. So appreciate your time today, bro.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, folks, that's going to be it for today. So you guys stay tuned for the next one. God bless. Monkey out.